I think, what makes it, so satisfying and enjoyable, you know what I'm saying, to work with 𝐏𝐚𝐫𝐚𝐦𝐨𝐮𝐭 would be, I think the comfort of it all. I think the trust, knowing that it's going to be, an enjoyable experience, and I'm gonna get pushed, beyond my comfort zone. I mean, we're constantly always trying to grow, from project to project, throughout our lives and also throughout our professional career. So, the fact that, we get along so well, he's somebody that I've known for a really, really long time. When you're working with your friends, you never want to let them down for anything. He picks up the phone and calls and thinks about you for a certain, project, that's really, really personal to him, that means a lot to him, and he trusts you to deliver the message, to be that, be a part of that process. You take it seriously, and it means a lot.
A gente ficou muito tempo fora, mas a gente voltou.
I work more often than him, just pure months in a year, turnaround from like acting and directing, so I'll put a couple movies up a year, at any given time. He lives with a project for like 2, because he writes what he directs, and there's a process that, post and editing, all the way up to the movie comes out. So when he calls you, you pick up the phone, you know what I'm saying? And you really pay attention to what he's got to say, and why he's, because he's very intentional, you know what I'm saying? And he means what he says, and he does what he says, you know what I'm saying? So when he hits you up, I kind of heard the pitch, and I was like, oh man, this is like different. And I was a little nervous at first, because for me, it's probably be the most adventurous role that I played thus far.
Ei, eu não queria assustar vocês. Eu achei que tinham esquecido de mim aqui. Abre, vai, me deixa entrar.
Stack, é você?
Anda, cara, abre a porta.
Não é o seu irmão.
The process of kind of like going from one character to the next, like for me it was a lot of, music and catchphrases and things of that nature. A body position or a stance, that I worked through to kind of establish the two of them. And, locking into that, day after day, you start to create your own rhythm and routine. Smoke wore his trauma differently. He kind of closed up a bit. So, Smoke is, a man of few words. And that's what we kind of understood a lot amongst identical twins. Usually, twin brothers that, are around each other a lot, one is more dominant in certain areas than the other. If you're always with your brother and your brother usually does most of the talking, you naturally don't talk that much because, your brother's taking care of most of that. So finding out those little details was a lot of fun and very informing on just the process. But, Smoke, had a heaviness to him that I kind of wore that took time to get off, and Stack was a lot lighter. He smiled through his pain, he smiled through his trauma. He talked his way through it, so he, had a lot more things to do and say and to deflect, to not sit still and let those feelings and those traumas kind of catch up to him. So Stack was always kind of like, he's always on the move, always kind of fleeing from things. So yeah, the process as a whole was just experimental, but and by halfway through it, it was a process and that we saw all the way to the end.
São gêmeos, é?
Não, primos.
Every day we left everything, on set, went home with nothing left to give daily, so we put everything into this after seeing the project and seeing how everything came together, because we're playing with a few different genres in this, and tone, and it's a ride. It's definitely a ride.
Existem lendas sobre pessoas que têm o dom de fazer uma música tão pura que pode invocar os espíritos do passado.
Will somebody take me in your eyes? With Ludwig, our composer that's been, our composer since Fruitvale. He's known him since school, since film school. And I haven't been on any set where we filmed to the actual music that would was gonna be in the movie, you know? So the fact that I knew that this is a song that's gonna go on over here in this scene, this moment. Okay, when I'm doing X, Y, and Z, this is what we're gonna be listening to, and really being in the moment. I think that helped out tremendously, and I want people to feel that in their bones too, the musical element of it.